Right guys, so yesterday was at Stolly's. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, so yesterday was at Stolly's. Today we are at Foxearth Fisheries in literally round the corner from Glemsford. Same thing again. Come to the venue, got some 2mm Silent Baits pellets, soaked in some krill and squid glug. Got some 4mm to loose feed over the top if I feel like the fishing's hard, which I don't think it's going to be, but I've got some 4mm anyway. And obviously, Bandon 8mm. So that's literally, it's just keeping it simple, keeping it nice and simple for myself. Not going to overcomplicate things. Down to the tackle. I'll quickly talk you through that. Same as yesterday, apart from obviously 10-foot feeder rod. I've got £8 main line down to a £6 12-ounce bottom with a 30-gram flat Preston inline feeder with a little small quick change bead down to a size 12 KKHB with a bait band on it. And obviously, we've come here today and that's it, now the eyes are straight, sorry. We've come here today and the reason I picked this corner is A, it's going to be away from everyone else and away from disturbance of anglers coming in and out, chucking things in. And B, it's the features. So I've seen fish top over the back. So it's one thing you want to look for when you're going fishing and you're coming on a commercial. You want to look for any signs and shows that fish are there. Top in, bubbles, movements in lily pads, things like that. And today we got a load of undercut ball rushes over the back and a load of reeds that have come up, and the water levels dropped quite a bit, to be honest with you. But we're going to feed an 8mm pellet with some 2mm. I'm pretty sure, it's happy to say that within the first 5 minutes I'll have a bite. Only because I've seen quite a few fish top there. We've thrown out some 8mm and some 4mm. But yeah, so the main thing you want to look for in your swim is signs of where the fish are in the peg. Features. So as I said, I've got ball rushes. I've got these margins and down towards this like little where the aerator would be if I need to. I'll say that and the fish jumps out. So yeah, before I do anything, I'm going to put some bait on the feeder, put some bait on the hook. I'm going to crack on with it. Is it just me, or is that float attached to a fish? So there's a red dotted float over the back there. I'm just wondering, is it attached
That's
to?
what I thought was his, but it's not.
Oh, it must be hooked on the bottom. Well, I might go around there later and try and get it out.
There's one over there.
Yeah, that's where someone's got caught in the ball rushes of the reeds over the back there. All right, so sorry about that. We just had a little chin wag ourselves. We're gonna put an 8mm banded pellet on to start off with. Just a plain 8mm hard feed pellet. As I said, we got a good 7-inch hook length there, but I'm not too worried about that. So I've just got a little mould today with a little 30-gram feed. I don't want nothing too overly massive. And then because I'm using such a small feeder, like I'm not using a 45-gram or anything heavy like that, I feel like that could actually help us in a way. Because the feed is so small. Oh, that is lovely. So I'm just going to give that, even though I've squeezed that with the mould, I'm going to give that a gentle squeeze, but that is literally how it should look. That's a nice inline flat. Can you see that on the camera? Nice flat inline, and the pellets in there as well, ready to go. Fish jumping out in the corner as well. So, as I said, we're just going to go out. Don't actually have to overcast it, but I am going to. We're snagged first go. There's a few snags over there. It's just finding that right spot where we did have a little plumb around with the feeder, and most places it was pretty clear. There's just that if you come short of that island over there, it's like a load of like reeds. reeds and stuff over the back there, so, well, they've got a little bit of bait in there now anyway, so the fish should be happy. Bow sitting 2 swims down, using the pole at the moment. He hasn't got the feeder rod out. Unluckily for him, I don't have that option. I've been able to whoop his arse on the pole. And he's probably going to watch this video later and be like, wait. So, you know, I'm going to give that a good old squeeze in there. All them pellets. They're still quite wet. I should have gave them a little bit more time to dry up, if that makes sense. So yeah, we've had a little bubble come up in our peg. Right, I don't want to pull any of that line in. I want that line just to rest nicely on there, just on the back end of that rod. I'm just going to slowly tighten that line up. It's quite shallow over there. As I said, the water has dropped quite a bit. So I'm just going to wait for it now. Just going to wait for a little indication of that rod to wrap round. Which I don't, as I said to you, I don't think it's going to take too long. So it's now coming up to, well, it's literally bang on 35 past, so 35 past 8. No, it's not, it's 35 past 9, my bad. So yeah, I've just got some 2mm soda baits on there with some krill and squid glug. We're just going to wait for that. Getting a few little taps already, which is a good sign. Again, we've only got a 30 gram on. It's not, I'd say it's probably 17 and a half metres across to that far side. So we are in need of a feeder and a feeder rod. But as I've said before, in the last video, I do want to practice my feeder fishing. I don't do a lot of it. Hardly do it at all, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I'm just feeding that line over there up against them bulrushes. That's my feature. It's what I like the look of, so I've tried it. And then it is in line with the next peg, but if I need be, I can chuck it more in front of me. A little tap on that feeder already. Don't think it'll be long before I first bite. But they've got, so this is their pleasure lake. I think if you go back 2 or 3 months, you will see it. And it's got carp, skimmers, tench, bream, roach. I think there's some few perch in here, a few decent sized perch as well. So yeah, I'm just sitting here now waiting for that bite. I'm going to give it 5 minutes because I did just put out that other method for the bait, so. Because I didn't want to put a 45 on, A, because it's not casting far anyway. So I don't need that weight to go for the distance. However, I just had an ant on the back of my neck. But however, if I want to feed a bigger pile of bait, I've got the option to put a medium or a large on, if needed be. I'm not going to put the large on just yet. I'm going to wait and see how long it takes for a bite, so I'm going to give it 2 or 3 more minutes. I don't think it will be long. If I feel like I'm getting a lot of liners and not enough bites, then I can shorten that hook length like I did the other day. Wednesday, sorry. I keep saying I went to studies yesterday. It feels like yesterday, but we didn't go yesterday. It was Wednesday, wasn't it? Was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. But yeah, so just going to keep repeating that process of every 5 minutes. And then when the fish start showing up, I'll probably end up dropping it down to maybe 10 minutes per chuck, just to allow them fish to settle. So yeah, just gonna, well, it's coming up to a minute now left already, so. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna open up my drink. There's a spider on my can. Just gonna put the towel over my can because I went to Bewers and took a sip of my can. I've been munched out my can down at Bewers River whilst fishing, and ended up having a wasp in my mouth. Right, it's been 6 minutes now. I'm just going to bring that feeder in. Yeah, I just spoke to carp then. Did you see that? See, there's swell left behind. So, because I didn't get a bite quite quickly and how quick I wanted it, I am just going to shorten that hook length down already. Just going to make that ultimate decision to do that. That's the best thing about these little stop beads is you can change your feeders, change your hook lengths as and when I've needed. So I'm just going to shorten it down to about 3 to 4 inches. Right, so just shortening that feeder hook length up. And I'm just going to lay that feeder there nicely. Yeah, so I've really shortened that down now to about 3 inches. Do keep an eye on your pellets. So I use a pellet strainer, or a bait strainer, but I soak them until they go to the rim of the pellets. The water goes to the rim of the pellets. And then from there onwards, basically, I literally give them about a minute and a half. That was lovely and tight up against that island. There's no obstructions there either, which is lovely. Let's just tighten that line up. There we go. So yeah, literally just under 1:45, so I'll give this one 5-10 minutes. Do the same thing again, keep repeating that process until we can kind of make something happen. But yeah, so as I was saying, sorry about pellets, you want to give them about a minute to a minute and a half soaking. Let them soak for that minute and a half. Once that minute and a half's gone, which normally I tend to find by the time I've put all the line through the eyes of my rod, put my method feeder on, tied the stop bead, the quick change stop bead, the pellets are done. Take them out, tip the water out the bait tub, put the strainer back in there, leave the strainer in there with the pellets, tie a hook, then put that on, tie that onto your little eye on the end of the rod, right where your hook goes, and normally they're done. And they're good to go. By the time you obviously sorted your bait out and sorted out, made sure you've got a disgorger, you've got your other things ready, they're normally done by that time. Again, I'm hoping to have a bite fairly quick because they're normally fairly quick down here. I mean, last time I come down here, I sat in the far corner over there, had a few carp, sat in literally a swim opposite me. I can see now where the bank goes in, and I can see that now. But I sat over there and I had roughly about 80-90 pound of carp out, literally on a top kitten too, using the same pellet. So hopefully it works today using the method feeder. If not, I have got some bandems I can use. Here we go. It seems to me that it's very rocky to the left side of the swim. When I was throwing the feed around, it was very rocky. But as soon as you come to the right, it goes very clear. But there is a few nice roach in it to the point where the roach will take an 8mm. So I can see that I've not got my tip, I haven't got my tip like bent round at all. I've got it so the line's tight, but not to the point where my tip's tight round and it's a tight, very tight line. It's just enough that if anything taps that feeder, I can still see them twitches. If you can hear people and wonder what it is, we've got Specie Lake over there, and we've got, I believe that's traditional, isn't it? This is pleasure. So you've got two pipes that actually run onto this lake from that other little circle. The little circle lake actually runs into this one. And then you've got Specie there and then traditional there, and this is pleasure, I believe. I think so. If not, I've got pleasure and traditional the wrong way around. Again, I'm just going to give it till 10 o'clock. Hopefully have a bite before then. Got a few more aggressive bites on the feeder rod now. Just chucking some little pellets out by that aerator because that might be a little feature to go to towards the end of the day. I'm very surprised we haven't had a bite yet. We've had a few taps, but nothing. Yeah, I had a couple down by my feet earlier on. Just going to loose feed. Just going to loose feed literally 5-8 mils down by that little down there by that little need 2-3 more left hand that short. Literally by that little area here. That's perfect. As I said, I'll keep feeding that little swim. If this swim goes quiet, or even just have a quick lunch break. Just have a quick lunch break and give this swim a rest. I can jump on over by the pontoon with the method and just have some fun with it, really. So I had a better indication just then. The rod actually tipped around a little bit. So that is telling me that there is fish over in that peg milling around for food. Obviously we're not waiting for them smaller indications. We're waiting for that rod to actually near enough throw itself around. And if this fails to work, I have got a few floats on me today to throw around that back anyway on a float. And see if they'll take that instead. Oh, that was a bit of tug. It's not even been out there for 10 minutes yet. We've already had a bite, so I'd say it's literally been, 8 minutes since putting it out there. I've had a bite already, which is a good sign. Once I've caught the first fish, I'll then come off, have a break, and then get back to you in a couple of hours and let you know how I got on. I'm actually got to feed over the top of that peg that I'm in now. Well, I say feed over the top of it. I'll tip after he's back in the pouch, actually, back in the tub actually. There we go. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to put some pellets ready in the pulp. I'll bring these closer to me, to be honest, slide them ones back. I'm going to leave them there. Oh, here we go. Go on, take it. You're all right.
Went under, I pulled up, but too late.
Do you know some of the roach get that big in there, right? They actually take an 8mm pellet.
That's what I've got on, an 8mm pellet.
Yeah, they get big in there.
8mm pellet.
I've had a roach close to
14
a,
or 16 hooks.
yeah, I've got a 12 on at the moment. But I've had roach from here like up to a pound, near enough up to a pound. Yeah.
All the floats being moved around where something smaller can't quite get the float.
When you say floats moving around, is it moving around like that?
No, it's actually moving like that.
Yeah.
It's nudging the bait at the bottom. So
Could be a carp coming into the peg and touching the line, moving the line. But like you said, if you are you sitting on bottom?
yeah, but I've plumbed up though now, so it's all accurate.
Just had an indication there. I don't know if that was. I think that was a fish swimming through the line. But yeah, today I brought minimal gear, not fishing with absolutely tons and tons of gear around me. I've literally just brought the box, my holdall and my tray bag, and my bucket. That is all I've brought. I know it may sound like a lot to some of you other anglers, but for me, it's my bucket's my necessary needs. It's where my bait goes. My box carries all my tackle, completely near enough everything. My holdall carries all my bait tubs, EVA bowl. Okay, now I'm looking over that other side. I can now see a few carp milling around. I can actually see them milling around on the bottom, so I would not be surprised. It's now been out there for about 12-13 minutes. And they are feeding tight up against that island. I say island, but they're feeding. See what I mean? You see the carp? It is feeding about a foot away from that margin, which is roughly whereabouts I got the feeder. But I feel like that could have been a load of maybe bream or roach giving me loads of taps. I mean, he's gone down onto the bottom now, so he's gone off the top. He's not sitting on the top now. Yeah, there's a few taps. I'm going to get ready because that carp was just literally above that feeder. Oh, yeah, he's on that feeder. His head's down and his tail's up and all. So I can now see about 2 or 3 different carp in my peg, which which is a good sign. Just going to wait for them to pick that 8mm pellet up. I want them to pick that pellet up, fill the hook, and then absolutely run off with the hook and hook themselves. I don't want to be, like you'll notice I won't be striking, near enough I won't be striking anyway at half of these bites, because the carp will hook themselves. Obviously barbless rules on there, folks. No micro barb, no barbed. Barbless only. The water's so low today that, there we go. The water's so low today I've had to actually use the full 4 metre landing handle. Just trying to get them feeding in that peg again. There is carp over in the corner feeding off the top. I could have sat there on the £5 spool. The average stamping is £3 to £5, but there is a few bigger lumps in there, and I want to be able to stand somewhat of a chance of getting them out, and I want to be able to put a hook clamp for them. Pardon me. Again, I'm not going to abandon that pontoon, that little aerator place, just because there's a few carp in my peg now. I'm going to keep that swim going today. Although I do only plan on fishing the one line, but it's good to have a couple of options available. A few carp back in the pig again. Definitely feels weird sitting here without the pole. I will be honest. Feels completely weird sitting here without the pole. It feels weird seeing me sitting on the feeder and seeing Baz 2 swims down sitting on the pole. It's normally the other way around, yeah. Oh, go on, take it. You know you want it. But yeah, so just gonna give it 4 more minutes, because the carp in the swim, I don't really want to spook them by reeling that method in if they are right on top of it. So I'm gonna give it 4 more minutes. If I don't have a bite, I'll throw a catapult some more of them 4mm out and just fish with an 8mm on the top. Again, I like it when I'm getting loads of them little taps. This is one of the things that I can tell you for a fact. If you're getting loads of little taps, and I mean tiny taps, 9 times out of 10 that'll be small fish. And then if it completely stops, that's how you know you've got carp in your peg, because that carp has bullied them out the peg. Might not be the case on all commercials, but it's the case that I've found. I find that that's what happens anyway. That's what I think happens. Would help if I stopped hitting that aerator and actually got the pellets in the lake. Oh, kicking up such a fuss on that bottom over the back there. It's now 4 past. Yeah, 2 more minutes. Bang on 5 past, and I'll bring this in. It's hard to want to bring your rod in when you know there's fish in your swim. Can you see them bubbles next to the aerator? There's a carp literally right on top of that feeder now. Literally 30 seconds left. I'm going to slowly bring that in now. And give it another cast out. The pellet's not even been touched. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lay this pellet in there again. So then now that them pellets are starting to dry out quite nicely, they'll stick to that feeder a bit better. Not worried if I spill any. So you'll know if you've done your feeder right. You'll know if you've done your method feeder right, because you shouldn't have to actually give it too hard of a press, or have to gently press it when you're putting the pellets on. I'm sitting on a little bit of debris out there, but I feel like that's what they want to be doing for some reason. I feel like they want to be sat on that little bit of cover on the bottom. And I literally said that, and there's a carp. There's a carp sitting there already. About literally only 9-10 inches away from my feeder. I just want to feed that peg, that back wall basically, kind of feed just under them rushes, get them carp confident. Did that land anywhere near your float? Right, I'm going to get Tallulah to pause the camera until I can get these fish confidently feeding. So Tallulah's going to pause the camera for me. Yeah. You started it? So, we just had our first carp on the method feeder over at that island. Wasn't a massive bite. There was a couple of liners. He's a nice carp, feels about £5. Might even be a bit bigger than that. Yeah, he is a bit bigger than that. I think he's actually in my net. No. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I will do in it. So, is it wrapped around the tip? It was, it isn't now. So yeah. Can you just slide that section off, please, Don? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end this video and I'm going to get Bazza to weigh him. Right, so just recasting back out there now. That carp just weighed £12.14. Oh, and there's still a few out there because I just spooked one. Throwing that method feeder back in there. Just spooked one. So I am just going to sink my line. Did foul look it. That's why it fought so hard, is because I foul looked it. A bit of leaf on my line. There we go, them pellets have just come off that feeder, and I can tell because the weight's it's not holding bottom as heavy as it would do with a load of yeah, this rod was more to my left, that's it. This blade of grass keeps getting in my way, I'm just going to break that off. There we go. Yeah, so I foul looked that. It wasn't foul looked massively like in the tail or something silly like that. It was foul looked though. It was just under the chin. So he's obviously come over it, spat it out, and I've struck at the liner. There's not too much of a problem because we've got one, finally landed one. Oh, another liner. I'm just going to feed some more bait and keep them carp in that swim busy. I want to keep them competing, but enough to keep them on the bottom. Oh, sorry about that. Way too many there, way too many. Nice light pole. What I am going to do is I'm just going to put 2 on the left side of the swim. Oh, too far to the left, I think that one. Just going to put 2 on the left side of the swim. Perfect. And then 2 on the right side. So that them carp can feel confident I was picking up my bait. So when they eventually move in, oh, so when they eventually do move back in there, into that peg, what I have got to watch is he did bend my hook, so I've got to watch now that I don't hook another one. Here we go, here we go. So there we go. Just another one caught on camera. But as you can see, the way I feed my method and getting that method tight up against the margin sometimes in this summer heat can be a good just gonna let that drag off a little bit just in case it does decide to dart off. Gonna tighten it up again a little bit. So glad I re-spooled this with 8-pound line. Sorry, Bale. Right in front of you. Don't mind sitting there playing him like this. Do not mind sitting there playing him like this. Just want to take my time now. He's now in on basically a top kit, what would be a top kitten 2. I just want to take my time. Play him smart. Just going to do that clutch up now. Just got to play him smart because I did bend the hook earlier on that fish out of a mirror we had. It's an absolutely stunning mirror. I think this is another mirror. Just going to play him smart now. Let him close by. Tell you what, these red range rods and these reels, I cannot fault them. They are amazing. I never thought, someone that loves Preston, I never thought I'd ever say that. It's an angry little carp. It's another little mirror. He's not big, but he is angry. Gonna move that. It's not ready yet, I don't think. Some lovely through and through action on this rod. It is amazing. So as soon as I can get him up. Again, that one has been foul, so I need to maybe think about waiting a bit before I strike. Get another about £5, 4 or £5. Hooked in the side. On the side of the face. That hook held up pretty nice. Yeah, it's only £5. So there we have it. The methods. Looks like I've got a turd in my net. Yeah. It's just a bit of a branch, but let's sit that on top of there. Let that net get a little bit more damp. As I'd like to. What I am going to do is, didn't really want to do this, but I am going to have to change that hook, I'm afraid. So we've had another mirror, a couple of mirrors actually. We've had a little common, about £6-7, and yeah, just decided to fish the back. Did fish the left margin. Did work for the common. I've had to feed that margin again. Whole time been fishing with the method, but yeah, I've had to feed that margin again. Getting some really nice bites on the feeder across, but I've had to actually shorten my hook length down to about 2.5 inch hook length. Because what I felt like they were doing with a 4-inch hook length, I felt like they were picking up that pellet and spitting it out, and then not hooking themselves. So I feel like having that 2.5 inch hook length, they'll eat them pellets off that feeder, pick up that pellet, and as they back off with the pellet in their mouth, they should theoretically hook themselves because of the weight of the feeder. But yeah, no, I personally think that today's been a good day. It's been a good session. That is for sure. I also think like when you come down to a commercial day ticker like this, you should theoretically, you should put it into practice really. You should check your pegs, check where the fish are. They literally give themselves away by jumping or, you know, swirling, bubbling, like absolutely causing a. It's like someone shook a bottle of Coke up and opened it underwater. So just things like that, signs that the fish do give themselves away. And then the other thing you also want to look for is the features around your nil peg. So I've chose here because I've got the mud line over the back there. Fish were jumping and swimming all along the back. So it's one main reason why I chose to fish that mud line. And then I've also got my margin swim down in the edge because I've got a nice big bush that sticks out a little bit in my margin. So that's one reason why I picked this swim. And yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and catch one more fish on camera for you. And then I shall be gone for the day. There will be pictures at the end. I'm definitely hitting that feeder. I've got a single banded 8mm Sunnybaits pellet on, so I'm just hoping that's enough to kind of get these carp feeding over the back there. As I said, I've been feeding 2 main spots over the back and 1 spot in my margin. I was feeding the where the oxygenation pump goes, but I ended up stopped feeding that halfway through the day and just letting that go because just didn't feel like that was a place where I was catching fish. I tried fishing there and didn't get any bites whatsoever. So yeah, I'm hoping I get a bite very, very soon because I haven't got much battery left on the camera. getting a couple of tiny little knocks. Just hoping that these bites pick up because it's very slow. Oh, I said that and I got a bite. I don't mind if it's a 2 or 3 pound carp or an 8, 9 pound carp. Fish is a fish and a bite is a bite on camera. These carp just don't want to seem to play ball today. They do not want to seem to play ball. There we go. Is he still on? Yeah, he's still on. Gonna call that yeehaw, cowboy. He nearly whipped me rod in. He nearly whipped me rod in. That drag's on full. Yeah. Gonna spin the feeder arm out of the way. Changing that hook length size has majorly done me a favour. So here we go. Tell you what, I'd love to do a little match up here, but you've got keep net rules of like £4 in the net. So nothing more than £4 goes in the net. I'm going to try and play him for a little bit, but he's only a little stocky common. Stick the rod under the leg. There's a lovely common. So that's probably about £2. A lovely little common. Lovely. Let's get him back. And that is going to be the end of the video.